Hey folks, Jeff Todd here for MLB Trade Rumors. Today I'm going to give you the best extension candidate for every National League East team. Real quick first, if you could hit that subscribe button, much appreciated. Now, I didn't say the best player on each team, and I didn't even say the best player who's also a pretty good candidate for an extension. I'm looking here at guys who might take a deal, might have interest in a long-term pact, and could potentially deliver big value to their club. Bear in mind, we've seen a whole loosening of the categories of player that have been targeted for contract extensions in recent years. Used to be you'd see star players, guys just about to hit free agency, maybe some earlier career guys that had a couple good seasons under their belt, starting pitchers, your solid all-around everyday position players. Now we're seeing guys like David Bodie, who's a utility guy, not still fully established in the big leagues. Aaron Bummer, a relief pitcher, not a closer. Highly promising, talented players, but not the types of guys that we used to see sign extensions. Now they can get deals. So this is a whole new world for contracts, and anything's really possible if a team likes a guy and sees an opportunity to take its existing contractual rights and make them more valuable to the team. First up is going to be the Braves. Now, look, this is a team that made two highly team-friendly deals, let me put it that way, almost to the point where you wondered if they really used their leverage too much, especially in the case of Ozzie Albies, but also Ronald Acuna Jr. Both of those contracts are complete winners for the Atlanta Braves. They struck those deals last winter. This team is highly focused on staying within its payroll and getting value wherever it can. I don't see a certain 30-year-old first baseman being their top target. Freddie Freeman is 2 years away from the open market, still on a long-term deal, had some injury questions last year. Still a great player. We all love Freddie Freeman, but I don't see him as the guy they're going to be going after. What makes more sense to me is a certain young pitcher I'm thinking of, highly accomplished already, guy who's not even going to be arbitration eligible until next year. And when he is, it'll be as a Super 2 player, so he'll have 4 years of arbitration run through. No, not Mike Soroka. He's really good too. He got all the awards, attention, the All-Star, second in the Rookie of the Year voting, and sixth in the Cy Young voting. Excellent season, good target as well. I'm thinking of Max Fried. The lefty had peripherals, strikeouts, low walk rate, great ground ball rate, kept the ball in the yard, and you might even look at him and think he had as good or better a season than Soroka did. Also Super 2, like I said, he's a little bit older than Soroka, had to go through some tougher times to get to the big leagues in the first place. Maybe he'd be amenable to a contract, and there's loads of potential upside there for the Braves. So that's my choice for Atlanta. All right, the Marlins. Now, the Marlins are in the least competitive stance of all the teams in this division, and that's important to bear in mind here. They do have a pretty obvious guy in Brian Anderson. 2 nice seasons under his belt at the plate, solid above average hitter. You could kind of say the same for catcher Jorge Alfaro. Different sort of situation there, but, it's not hard to think, these guys are going to be solid players. Let's go ahead and lock them up. You can see it. Not super exciting at this point. Not sure you want to lock into those players. Where else can you go with this team? Well, the pitching staff, there's some interesting young arms there. Sandy Alcantara is probably the guy most would look at, but I want to see another full season out of him if I'm the Miami organization. He got some really nice results last year, but a lot of the peripherals showed some questions, not a ton of strikeouts. Let's see how he does with another full season. In my mind, if I'm the Marlins, and I want to be bold, I'm going after the guy that they targeted at the trade deadline last year, gave up a lot to get. Shortstop Jazz Chisholm, he's already on the 40-man roster, so extending him wouldn't necessarily even mean you have to put him up in the big leagues. Maybe he's not quite ready. I don't know. But the guy hit well after coming to Miami late last year. He's been hot this spring. Limited action, but, look, 5 walks and 18 plate appearances against some higher level pitching. They obviously believed in him when they got him. Why not be bold? Take a strike at him. He's my pick for the Fish. Okay, meet the Mets extension candidates. There are quite a few. You could really run through a pretty big swath of that roster and find guys that make some degree of sense. You could look in the outfield, Michael Conforto, 2 years from free agency. Sure, Brandon Nimmo, 3 years from free agency. These are nice, high-quality hitters. Can definitely see it. Ahmed Rosario, still just 24 years of age, had a nice season. Definitely one of the top guys I considered. You could make an argument for Jeff McNeil. I think he's a little bit too low on the spectrum in terms of his service time and a little too long in the tooth to be a sensible target. On the pitching side, you obviously have guys like Noah Syndergaard. Not likely he's going to sign a deal at this point, given the relationship, given his upside. Marcus Stroman, a year from free agency, definitely possible. Lock up that veteran, but he's another guy. He's going to be looking for what that market is going to give him. Maybe there's an outside case for Seth Lugo. For me, I'm not going to screw around with any more of those guys. I want Pete Alonso. We all want Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso might be the most endearing baseball player I have ever seen. The guy mashes dingers. He is a heck of a personality. He's fun to watch. And look, it's all kind of lining up towards it. You might want to resist it in this situation and try to get cute, pick a different guy for me. No. Pete Alonso is a superstar level player if he can keep performing. He's only 1 year into his career, and the reason that he has a full year of MLB service is that the Mets started him off on the opening day roster last year instead of delaying, messing with his service time. So maybe some goodwill there. They got more goodwill when they gave him a record contract for a guy in his first full season with a new MLB contract. You can just renew those guys. You can give them whatever you want. The Mets gave him a record. So he was happy. The Mets are happy. Everybody's happy. Look, it all makes sense. Long-term deal, Pete Alonso. Now heading down to D.C., the Nationals don't have a wide variety of extension candidates. The ones that they do have are in pretty clear situations. Now, Max Scherzer, 2 years from free agency, 35 years old. That's kind of a tough sell. The obvious guy here, look, it makes tons of sense for the team. Juan Soto, he's super young. He's an amazing personality, fantastic player, super high floor with that bat, such great plate discipline, all of it. He's got it all. He's also got Scott Boras as his agent, and I just don't see any way they're getting a deal done with him at this point. If they wanted to, last winter was probably the time. You never know, things could happen, but it would have to be a true blockbuster to get that done. Two other guys make quite a bit more sense. There's definitely an argument to be made for center fielder Victor Robles. He's not quite where he needs to be at the plate. Very streaky hitter, not very reliable, but still fairly productive there when he's going. Got all the tools. Excellent defender. He's a valuable guy, and you could easily see high value in a contract. At the same time, the Nats have usually been willing to watch things and then pay when they need to. Pay when a guy has proven it, and that's Trey Turner. Having already lost Anthony Rendon with some ongoing uncertainty over the next couple years, the Nats have a lot of pieces in place. It would be even better if they could keep Turner. He's 26, so he's not super youthful for a guy who's 3 years away from the open market, but he's still pretty young. He's been a really consistently above average hitter, maybe even still has some upside to tap into if he can get back to full health this year. Remember, he gutted it out with an injury last year, was still really, really good. This is a guy that could be moved back into center field, into the outfield if you needed to. Just a really exciting player. He's a guy that I can envision wrapping up a deal. He's in his first year of arbitration, so he has already tapped into that real money, but he's not so deep into it where he's already got tens and 20s of millions of dollars in his pocket. I think the Nats could feel comfortable with a pretty big number with him and still possibly have a good idea that they could get something done that would be at a good value for the team. I'm going to keep it simple here. I'm tempted to pick Alec Bohm, really nice prospect, and I can just imagine the home runs and the play-by-play calls with that last name. It's going to be exciting, but not clear yet if he's ready to be in the big leagues. He's not on the 40-man roster, so not yet maybe quite the time. And look, there's an obvious candidate there. JT Realmuto, this guy, the Marlins gave him up. The Phillies gave good value and prospects to get him. He did everything they asked last year. He's 1 year from the open market. They did just go to arbitration and have a hearing. The Phillies did win that case. No hard feelings, but we know Realmuto is not going to just take whatever this team offers. He is out there looking for a big contract. Whether they can get a deal done or not, we don't know. Now, we did hear recently that they have stopped talking, but there is going to be a big open window now for the two sides to come back together, maybe hold some additional chats. Remains to be seen. I'm tempted to go in a different direction because of those recent developments, but look, the Phillies are going to have an awful hard time letting this guy just walk. If he's really seeking Buster Posey money, then no, I don't see it happening. But maybe there's still a window here, an opportunity for the two sides to come together, talk things out, and I think that this organization is going to be pretty motivated to keep him. All right, that's all for today. Please do pop down in the comments. Let me know if you liked the video, or you can just tell me by hitting that like button. Talk to you tomorrow.